seeing right now before your eyes. 0-4-0 Faker, all the deaths from SKT.
What's a god to a non-believer, Kobe? Perks, he's going...
Yellow, Mono here, and today we'll be looking at G2's early macro game against SKT in Game 1 of the 2017 MSI Finals. Now, I found this game particularly interesting due to G2's ability to shut down Faker so early in the game, as well as their ability to make really smart macro decisions to create small gold advantages. So, without further ado, let's dive in. To start things off, we'll look at some of the picks and bans so we can get a better sense of each team's game plan. Looking at the first rounds of bans, we could see that SKT were focused on taking away the late game scaling AD hyper carries from G2, since they've had a lot of success throughout the tournament with Protect the AD comps. G2 focused their bans on shielding supportive champions, which SKT have run frequently throughout the tournament. Particularly Karma and Lulu were a part of their well-crafted drafts when they beat KT in the LCK Spring Finals. SKT are also really good at running team comps with 2 shielding and high utility champions. They've been masters of that throughout the whole year. Jumping ahead, SKT pick a very high kill pressure bot lane with Ashe and Zyra and an aggressive early game jungler, Lee Sin. G2's response was to draft Caitlyn their first rotation and pick up Tahm Kench as a safe counterpick to the high amount of potential kill pressure SKT's bot lane possesses. Although this gives SKT a strong win condition to work with, G2 will likely settle with giving Perks the mid lane counterpick. This is because G2 is red side, and the lack of damage from Ivern and Tahm Kench suggests that Expect is probably going to play a damage heavy top regardless of what they anticipate Huni picking. The second round of bans heavily focused mid lane, since both solo laners were not selected during the first round. A total of 7 mid laners were banned, including one of Faker's comfort blue side picks by SKT themselves, Orianna. Because of the high amount of mid-focused bans, Faker sided with one of the stronger mages in the meta that was left and locked in Cassiopeia, which gives Perks a comfortable winning lane matchup of picking Jace, which was a champion he was known for in solo queue before he went pro. Overall, SKT have a fairly well-rounded team fighting composition that mostly relies on bot lane pushing early and Peanuts Lee to apply pressure mid and bot. On the other hand, G2 has a good comp for smaller skirmishes but lack hard CC and engage, which will make it harder for them to snowball advantages into the mid and late game. G2 will have to rely on Perks' Jace poking out the opponent and taking advantage of the winning mid lane matchup for G2 to win. So, let's get into the game. To start off, we'll be looking at what both teams do level 1 to scout out where the enemy jungler will potentially start. So G2 drop earlier wards by the pixel brushes, with Trick dropping his topside at 43 seconds and Sven dropping his at 109. Trick then goes mid lane and waits to see if SKT drop any wards down to determine where he'll start in the jungle. Peanut then drops his trinket at 114, giving Trick the info he needs that his red is not being invaded at the moment, as well as giving information if Trick decides to do a red to blue invade, which would ruin Peanut's standard Lee Sin clear. SKT run a late invade to get vision onto G2's buff, giving them info on where Ivern is starting. So overall, G2 anticipate a standard red wolves blue Lee Sin clear, while SKT gain intel on Ivern's early clears. Now we'll take a look at each jungler's pathing, starting with Trick. Ivern typically can exercise a more aggressive jungling route, being able to instantly clear camps with Smite. However, Trick chooses a power farming route to track Lee Sin and end his initial clear at level 4. His route and the communication he set up with Perks allowed G2 to successfully track Peanut's pathing, with Perks warding his topside river, spotting Peanut clearing Scuttle Crab at 315. This information revealed Peanut's previous routes that suggested he went the standard Lee Sin clear. It also gave info for Expect to ward his bush as he began shoving in. Trick used this info to go straight to SKT's Raptors and drop a ward, from which he can track Peanut's next move after Raptors. This denied any opportunity for Peanut to commit to any early level 3 or level 4 gank, because of G2 was now aware of his positioning on the map, although it was likely that Peanut wouldn't gank until after his first back. It's also notable how G2 communicate around vision, as at 347 Trick looks to apply pressure bot lane, but Sven or Mithy kept track of where Bang or Wolf warded, and Trick doesn't have to waste any time committing to ineffective ganks. G2 seem to be very good at this, as this skill is exercised later on by Perks. But the most interesting aspect of Trick's pathing is what he does from 356 to 421. At first he's looking like he wants to position near bot lane to counter gank, but then he pulls up and just walks back and forth by his blue. This seems kind of odd, but what I'm pretty sure he did was time his back looking for a planned gank mid lane. He bases right as Faker gets back to lane, and after Perks bought a longsword and a refillable potion. Trick can get to mid lane quickly with Moby Boots, so this allowed Perks to go all in, knowing Trick can back him up, and they secure first blood. Although in my opinion Faker misplays the 1v1, the synergy between Tricks and Perks allowed G2 to jump ahead early, along with Perks knowing his power spike to when he can go all in. But the real synergy between the EU duo was what happened after the gank. Once G2 secured first blood, Trick went to prep his Gromp and Wolves, and then smites his Raptors. You can't see all of this because the replay blocks it out. When Faker came back to lane, Perks saw him place his control ward in the topside brush, to which Trick saw an opportunity for another gank. Trick paths around the ward's range and then flanks Faker to lock down another kill onto him. I think this was a well orchestrated gank, but I think Peanut should have placed one of his 4 wards in his inventory to protect Faker from the onslaught of ganks, but Faker didn't seem to respect G2's pressure throughout the game. Faker dies for a 3rd time even when some vision is provided for him, and this one's a good example of Faker not respecting Trick's presence. Faker overextends going for a Q trade onto Jace, which prompts the follow-up from Ivern. If Faker had just gone for the last hit or stayed back, he might have been able to survive. Same thing for his 4th death. He tries to kite Perks and Trick, but continues to trade without respecting Ivern's presence, and then dies to Expect's Equalizer. All of these uncharacteristic mistakes from Faker put him behind, but Peanut was at least able to adjust and pick up most of the minions left over. The combination between Trick and Perks playing to their win condition of playing into their winning lane matchup and Faker making greedy mistakes allowed for G2 to pull ahead, but they did make a really strange mistake that cost them later on. At 10:17, Peanut is clearly spotted on a ward over Dragon Pit, and is seen starting the Infernal Drake by queuing over the wall. It's even pinged, and Trick's reaction to smite the Scuttle Crab and walk away, which is... it's just weird. I just don't understand how that mistake was made. Perhaps they weren't paying attention or it was a communication error. Moving on. SKT's bot lane has almost knocked down the first tower of the game, and Peanut and Faker are looking to dive or force a fight to take the turret bot lane. However, Trick spots SKT roaming down and rotates down to smother the fight. G2 clear the bot wave, then make a cheeky rotation mid lane using Mithy's Tom Kenschalt to 4-man rush the mid tower down. This is essentially a turret trade that favors G2 because of their quick shot calls, being able to open the map by taking mid turret first over SKT taking bot afterwards. This gives G2 a 2.2 gold lead over the Korean Kings, and sets them up for success for the rest of the game. Well, sorta. G2 ended up losing this game due to wonky lane assignments in the mid game, committing to a bad team fight and then losing Baron off of it, and overall I thought they didn't play team fights out too well. I thought they maybe should have tried to siege a little bit more, but it's really hard to siege when you have 0 engage on your team composition, or very light engage. But overall, G2 went out and attacked Faker head on at the start and put up a good fight against what might possibly be the best SKT team of all time. And that's all I got. If you watched this far, leave a like and or sub, and that would be really appreciated. Feel free to follow my Twitter and check out my other content. Thank you so much, and have a good day.